Hi, welcome back to Elements in Focus. Aaron Rheaume and Grant Soliven. We are being your co-pilots today through our Elements in Focus journey. Talking today is our legacy planning topic that we like to go through. How many of you would like to leave Uncle Sam less money upon your passing? That is the question for today. How many of you would like to give Uncle Sam less upon your passing? And so one of the ways to be able to utilize that Grant will talk through today is utilizing trusts to gift some assets so that Uncle Sam gets less. Grant Sullivan, I am going to turn it over to you, Mr. Co-Captain, Co-Pilot. Take it away.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you, brother. Well, for those of us that are in the industry know, and I'll start with this just to be clear, Aaron and I are not attorneys. We don't play attorneys on TV, nor could you think you pay us enough to be an attorney. Why do I say that? Well, because Aaron and I are going to talk about some planning areas that are going to require a key dedicated eye from an estate planning attorney to make sure that these are done well. So I'm going to speak generically about the ideas. But I just want to make sure that everyone knows Aaron and I are not trying to practice law. We're just going to give some advice from things we've seen along the way. So all of us love giving less to Uncle Sam, right? It's kind of the reason why we have CPAs, et cetera, why we do what we do for the most part in the industry is because we don't want Uncle Sam not to have anything, but we don't want to give him more unnecessarily. So for those of us that are charitably inclined, now this specifically means we enjoy giving resources to entities in our communities, right, or around the world that do things that are close to our heart. I like to use the United Way as an example because everyone knows who that is. And so, or the Humane Society, or those of us who are very passionate about animals. These entities and charities rely on our gifts, right? Now, they do get some tax breaks, but again, they're not-for-profit organizations that rely on our ability to donate. And so just like a business who has the opportunity at year end to either pay their employees or buy assets to pay Uncle Sam less, we can do the same thing with charities. If we want to give money to the Humane Society or to the United Way at our passing, and that's something we believe deeply in, we can use trust documents to ensure that the wealth transfer to our children or our heirs, doesn't have to be children, but to heirs, can be given, and we can reduce tax obligations significantly, right? Because charities sit in the middle and get a healthy amount of resources that pass before the beneficiary. So what am I talking about specifically? Let's give an example. So traditionally, you can use beneficiary designations on retirement accounts like IRAs and 401ks to give to children, and for the predominant children are the beneficiaries of those taxable assets. But you can also set up estate documents, see-through trusts, or we call them IBRATs here because it's a specific name for the trust that follows the Secure Act language, where we can designate beneficiaries in that estate document as charities. So the charities get most of the taxable assets. Your heirs get most of the tax-free assets or stepped-up assets and other trusts, right? Everybody's having a great day because Uncle Sam's getting nothing because the charities don't pay income tax on the taxable assets, right? And your family gets step up and tax-free assets on the Roth side, right? Boom, that's an easy one to play. But what happens when your estate exceeds the federal exemption, right, for death tax? And what I mean by that is, what happens if your estate eclipses the current $13 million federal estate exemption for both you and your spouse? Well, unfortunately, Uncle Sam comes in and starts taking a pretty hefty amount. Now, a way to get around that, for those of us that have liquid assets or other properties that push us over that limit, is to use things like a charitable lead annuity trust or charitable lead unit trust. And so what happens, and again, I'm not going to get the details because I don't want to step on any attorney's toes here and say something incorrectly. The fact that we can use these entities is powerful because essentially what happens is the donor, the grantor of this trust, because they have charitable intent in their heart, they've already done some of the IRA and 401k gifting we just talked about. They're going to come in and say, hey, I love my heirs, but I love these charities. So I'm going to go ahead and label this charity as one of the benefactors of my trust and essentially be able to take some massive tax benefits off the table for myself and for them, so that these assets that are potentially going to get struck or hit by the federal government are no longer in the estate. Because what? They've been gifted to a charity. And then the remainder is going to go to those beneficiaries. So it's the best of both worlds, right? The charities get funded, our heirs get money, and Uncle Sam doesn't get to take the estate. Now, at $13 million per individual, that may be less attractive today. But Aaron and I often talk about how there's this thing happening potentially in 2026 called a tax code sunset, right? And if 60 senators or more can't agree that they want to keep this current tax code, then essentially it's going to come down. And that $13 million ceiling per person comes down with it, right? And so there's a lot of ways that Congress can change and alter the tax code to rake in revenue. And one of the ways that we believe, based on things hitting the steps of the House and other bills, is they're coming after this $13 million exemption. So this may seem like, hey, this is something that's way out of my purview today. I don't have an estate $26 million in size, Grant. Well, that's good, but keep this in the back of your head, because what may happen in the future is we may see that 13 million come down to a number that may shock some of us. And then these types of gifting of assets will become far more important. So if you have an estate tax problem, you're over that 13 million, or you feel that you'll be well over that when the tax code does sunset, let us know. We'd love to kind of walk you through some of the strategies we've helped other families engage in to help these charities, right, receive funds, but also more importantly, protect your assets from being more or less halved by the death tax. And also, we'd love to get you in contact with some of the best estate planning attorneys we know who can help us draft these documents and provide even more clarity than what Aaron and I are going to cover today. So remember, if you don't like paying Uncle Sam taxes and you're charitably inclined, there's a lot of cool ways that we can use estate documents like trusts to ensure your heirs and your charities receive what you desire.
Great job, Grant. A couple things that I want to wrap up with just as some reminders. As Grant mentioned today, the estate tax exemption is like 13.6 million. That is portable, meaning that it's combined with your spouse. So you can have roughly a $27 million estate tax exemption. And as Grant said, that will sunset in 2025 if changes aren't being made. Couple of things. If you have a spouse pass away and you have a large estate, make sure you have a form 706 filled out. That is your estate tax filing to let them know how much your estate tax that you're using that exclusion. One potential caveat is, let's say a spouse passes away and you don't fill that form out. All of a sudden, you have a large inheritance from the sale of a farm ground or sale of something large, and that puts you over that estate tax limit. You can get yourself in trouble by not filling out that form 706. So please pay attention to that. Work with a CPA, work with an attorney on the trust that Grant was talking about. If you have questions, we are very well versed. FEG has our trust services division. We are ready and able to help people through these types of transitions. Grant, anything else you want to add as I wrapped up there?
No, my friend. It's been fun doing this with you. And if, again, I'm with Aaron. If you have any questions about the complexity of this estate plan and you're looking for ways to get at Uncle Sam's purview, please give us a call.
Yeah, reach out to us at 800-928-4001 or go to our website. You all have a blessed day. Thank you for watching.
If in our conversation today something was sparked deep inside you and you feel like you want to evaluate your current financial journey, please click the link here. We'd love to schedule a complimentary meeting to sit down with you and navigate the potholes that may potentially be lurking around the corner in your financial situation. One of our talented team members will help you figure out where you are, figure out where you want to be, and then give you key critical things that you can think about today and tomorrow to make sure your financial journey remains intact.